Hey everybody, this is Jose Blasco here. This is a sound check. Could you please have a quick message on the chat box just to confirm you hear me? I think everything should be okay, but just in case that helps a lot. So quick confirmation for the sound. We have 3 seconds to go, guys. That's it. We are live. Welcome to the session, everybody. Again, just waiting for your confirmation that sound is good, so we can begin. Hello, everyone. Hello, everybody. Just double checking. Hello, everybody. Double checking that sound is good. I believe so. So we are ready to begin the session, guys. Welcome. Today is August 4, 2020. My name is Jose Blasco. I will be taking care of the get-together session today when it comes to short-term trading. We will be exploring markets such as futures and Forex. That's going to be our bread and butter. Certainly looking at opportunities for intraday trading. Hence the name of the session, short-term. So today we'll keep it short-term, we'll keep it low time frames, and again, looking for those different opportunities, okay? Before we start, as always, we have a disclaimer on the top. So I'm just gonna give you a little bit of time for you to read it carefully. Of course, the disclaimer, it's obviously something important. So make sure you read it carefully. As you know, these videos and demonstrations are for educational and instructional purposes only. So any trade that we plan and we execute, make sure that if you execute it, you are happy with. Okay, what I'm going to be doing, obviously, will be to follow a very specific method, and it will hopefully make a lot of sense to you. But again, the final decision to click the button is obviously yours with real money or paper money as well. Okay, here we go. So let's begin the session. Here is TradeStation. So we're going to start planning the session using TradeStation. We'll look at the radar screen. Anytime we see golden alerts, in this case, we have an alert with copper. So we will go and check copper. On the right side of my screen, all the markets I got are Forex markets. So we'll certainly go ahead and look at the Forex markets too. And again, just look for opportunities that meet our rules. Okay, so since copper, it's giving us an alert right now. So I'm just going to go ahead and open the workspace for copper. HG is copper. Notice that this is not the most liquid futures market in the world at all. It's liquid enough to be traded, but it's not super liquid. And therefore, notice 2 things. Number one, I'm entering barchart.com, going into the metals section, so I can double check the right symbol to be using copper. So I make sure that I use the right symbol, because commodities change symbols very often, as you can see here. So that's one thing I'm going to be doing. The other thing I'm going to be doing is use a little bit of larger time frames while we're going to keep it intraday. I'm going to be using 4-hour climates for this market, given the fact that it is a bit less liquid than others. Okay, so highest volume and open interest is found with the September contract, which is the letter U, which is the one that we have highlighted. Okay, on the chart, I believe I have the letter U already. Yes, so I have it right. Okay, and therefore it's time to begin planning the trade with copper. Even though as of now we don't have a trade, it's actually a very simple one to discard right now. We'll come back to it later, but it's very simple. We have a down climate, which is confirmed, thick dot and red. So time to be a seller of copper. 287.47. It's the 289.47 is the price at which we want to short. But notice how in none of the edge timeframes above we have any red UFO. We have green, but we don't have red. Therefore, it is waiting time for us, waiting for a red UFO to form, which may appear any moment, in a few seconds, a few minutes. It could be any time. So we'll come back and we'll recheck if that becomes a valid opportunity or not. Okay. Looking at your names on the chat box as well. Boyan, how are you? Marcus, good to see you. Furman, good to see you as well. It's a pleasure to have you guys. Always great to get together. Last week, I was a bit busier than normal, and therefore I had to miss the normal session that we do, guys. So I was missing, this session, guys. So Very happy that we are running it normally this week. Anyway, so let's continue. Okay, so since copper is not giving us a trade as of now, we're gonna continue looking at markets. We have an alert up here on the euro contract. Okay, but notice that we have a gray box meaning the climate is not confirmed, and therefore I'm gonna pass on this one. So again, I will keep monitoring the futures markets that I have on the left. Look at that, we just have an opportunity that just flashed there on the Russell. Okay, just flashed on the Russell RTY. So before we move into Forex, let's take a look at the Russell index, Russell 2000 index. Okay, RTY. Let's see if an opportunity is available or not. An opportunity is indeed available, but we're gonna pass. Okay, and if you've been trading with me for a while, you know why, isn't it? That green UFO that does envelop the EMA in the context of a defined climate. Okay, the problem we have with it is that it's very, very, very deep. Okay, it's one of those large UFOs that will bring your safety target very far, and if your safety target is far, then it's much less safety than just a target. Okay, and out of convenience from a risk management point of view, you will see me pass on such trades. It would not be wrong to execute. It would just be a trade where getting to safety is going to take longer. And given my trading style, this is not something I welcome. If you were to welcome it, it's absolutely fine. But I will be a bit pickier than that in my case, and I will pass. Okay, so I want to close this workspace because that UFO is a bit too large. Okay. Okay, so let's move into the world of Forex. Okay, we got Forex currencies here on the right side of the screen. Starting with the 60-minute time frame climate for the majors, we have the euro giving us an alert which is near sensible. We have more alerts that are near sensible, but unfortunately they are a gray box unconfirmed climate, so we're going to leave it alone, and therefore the only one we're going to check as of now is the euro. So let's go ahead and load the euro. I have it here. The euro in a 1 hour time frame is right here. So the two charts I'm going to use to plan the trade as of now are going to be the charts on the left, meaning please that ignore the charts on the right for now, because the combination of time frames I'm going to be using is 1 hour combined with 8 minutes. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, so what do we have if you were to plan a trade on this market? What is it that we have in front of us? So first of all, from a climate point of view, the climate is confirmed. So we should be a seller, right? And statistics suggest that when the markets fall, red color is fall, statistics suggest that this climate could last. A normal thing would be 5 candles. Okay, 463, we round up to 5. We always round up, even if it's 4.0 something, we round up. So that's basically 5 candles, and this is candle number 5. Okay, so we're entering a little bit late in the climate, but it's not too late to enter. So if an opportunity is available because the other rules are met, then we will be happy to execute a trade here. Okay, so what do we have? We have a reference point to take the trade. The black value is our EMA. Okay, that's our EMA, the black value. So it's 117.55. So more or less where the price is, we are looking for UFOs. Okay, and therefore let me turn on AutoUFOs to see if we have UFOs or we don't. And guess what? We do. Okay, so we have a UFO there. Starting right there. Actually, it's a trade to be taken almost immediately. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue the planning. So I'm gonna go ahead and find a target. Okay, so let's find a target for the trade. I'm gonna load the order panel so that way we will be able to input all those different trades. Okay, and I'm gonna be very visual for you guys. So we are shorting the euro here. Target will be located at 117.38. Okay, 117.38. That will be the location for the target, which this is where we have on-field orders to buy. So 117.38. But of course, this Forex is a decentralized market. We need to add 2 pips. So that will become 117.40. Okay, so that will be the location for the final target. So now that we have the location for the final target, the entry, okay, which is being met right now, seems to be 117.52. Okay, so we happen to have the opportunity to enter a bit higher. It's 54 right now, so it's a little bit of a better price. 64.4 will be the location for the stop. Okay, so 64.4. Of course, that's gonna be rounded to 65, and then because it's a buy stop, we're going to have to add 5 pips for the stop and 2 pips to take care of the fact that this is a buy order. So this is going to bring the prices up to 72. Okay, and that is fine in the sense that 72, it's below this other UFO that is 75. Okay, the problem is that if you were to take this trade, it's a 0.6 to 1, and being a 0.6 to 1, my safety target will be 1 to 1, right? So in other words, your safety target is further beyond the final target, and therefore, while the trade makes sense from a probability point of view, then the trade makes no sense from a risk management point of view, and therefore we're going to discard it. Okay, it's a similar setup that what we had on the Russell. On the Russell, I said that out of convenience for risk management, we will discard the trade. The reason why I said on the Russell is because the UFO was too large, bringing the safety target far away. In this case, the problem is not that the UFO was too large. In this case, the problem was that the target was too close. But in both cases, the safety target would be too far. Okay, so for one reason or the other one, this is a trade to be discarded. Okay, so back to our radar screen, quick look at copper to see if a UFO formed. Here we go. We got a UFO that just formed there. EMA 8944, and the bottom part of this UFO is 8965. 8965, yes. So I'm not sure. I'm really not sure if when price comes to the UFO, we would have a valid entry or not. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to place a line very close to the UFO, and I'm going to activate an alert. So when price comes there, let me make sure I got a message. I want the message not to be 15 seconds. I want the message to be always open on the screen, never close. Okay, so when price comes to 60, I'll be reevaluating to see if this trade works. It may work. I would say probably not. So let's take a look at that in a few more minutes. Okay. In the meantime, back to the radar screen. And again, on the future side, we basically have the same. So I'm going to continue working on the Forex side, where 60-minute time frame opportunities were not successful for us in the sense that we didn't approve them. So we're going to move into majors 4-hour time frame. And in this case, this time, I have 2 possibilities, which is also the euro to short and also the pound, both to short. Okay, they are both near sensible red color. So they are both shorting opportunities. So let's reassess the euro then. But instead of looking at the charts on the left, I'm not going to look at those ones. I'm not going to look at the charts on the right either. I'm going to focus now on the combination, which is 4-hour time frame combined with 21 minutes, okay, which is, what my radar screen is suggesting. It's suggesting a down climate on the euro, which we could see easily here. Okay, let me zoom in. We could see that easily here with a thick red dot. This is a down climate, and it's confirmed thick dot. So we want to enter this climate. Certainly, this is a very good time to enter, because if probabilities happen to become reality, this climate could continue moving down for 7 candles. This is candle number 1. So you may be into another 6 candles, 4 hour each. That's a full 24-hour trade, riding the euro on the way down. That would be a nice trade. Okay, but of course we have more requirements to accept the trade. Let's see if we will have those requirements met. Okay, so one of the requirements is to find UFOs around our reference value, which is 117.62. Okay, so 117.62 is basically where the price is right now, okay, as we speak. So the question is, do we have UFOs right now? Let's turn on AutoUFOs on the 4-hour time frame, and we don't. The next UFOs that we have on the 21-minute time frame are located all the way to 117.94. So we don't have a situation where the UFO envelops the EMA. We don't have that. We have an indirect force with the climate, but we don't have the direct force, which is, by the way, the key is the UFOs, right? So what am I going to do? Well, I'm going to give this trade a last opportunity. Instead of 21 minutes, I'm going to check into the 21 ranges and see if with that we do find UFOs in the raw location. Let's see if that's the case or not. And guess what? We do. Okay, we do, even though we're not going to accept it. Yeah, we're not going to accept it. And the reason why we're not going to accept it, okay, is because the distance between 117.64.6 to 117.66.7, it's basically a couple of pips, okay, a couple of pips of risk to take a trade where you expect to be in the market falling in your favor for a whole 1 day, 24 hours. It really makes no sense. Okay, the market moves way more than 2 pips per day. The euro is moving, anywhere between 70, 80, 90 pips. That varies depending on the days, something like that. So really, taking a 2 pip risk, expecting such a nice profit, it's not realistic enough, and therefore we will not accept this trade on the euro. But we're not giving up. We are gonna move and check on the pound, because you also remember, isn't it? The pound was offering a climate opportunity, okay, and we may have a trade here which is available. So let's take a look, okay? So first of all, climate, it's confirmed, thick and red, 2 candles into the climate. Statistics suggest when the pound falls, it's going to be a normal thing to happen is to have 8 candles moving in your direction. So in other words, we can be here in an over 1 day trade with the pound shorting it, okay? So all of this is encouraging. Great. So we look at our reference value, which is the EMA, black color EMA here, 130.54. 130.54 is just a little above where price is right now. So let's turn on the UFOs to see if there is a UFO. And there is. Okay, there is. It's 56, okay, and that we're gonna call it good enough. Okay, we're gonna call it good enough, and notice the pound is about to reach that price point. Okay, so let's put it all together here. Okay, so we're gonna short at 56, okay, with a stop. The stop is gonna be located at 130.78.5. That of course becomes 79. Then we need to add 2, that becomes 81, and then we need to add 5 for the stop, it becomes 86. So we are risking 30 pips in that particular trade, okay? And the target would be, okay, so turning on AutoUFOs on the 4-hour time frame. So the target would be located here at 129.04. Okay, so 129.042. So that becomes 05, and that because it's a buy order, we need to add 2. So that becomes 07. Okay, so this is basically a 5-to-1 trade. It's not an unrealistic trade. It's certainly a decent trade. Remember, the further away your targets, the less likely you will reach them. That's why we use safety target and trade management. But certainly it's a valid one. Okay, and as we speak, let me double check there is not a glitch with TradingView. It seems that my UFO just went away there. Yeah, the UFO just went away, guys, in front of us, and we are only left with the UFO all the way above. What a teaser, but good one, because the fact that the UFO is gone implies much less probabilities than earlier, right? And therefore, we're not gonna execute this trade unless the 21 range gives us what we want. So let's take a look at the 21 range. So the 21 range, well, you know what? We will take the trade. Okay, we will take the trade. What a teaser, isn't it? Yeah, that UFO went away as well. You saw it, isn't it? Let me refresh and you will see that. Well, actually, yeah, the UFO is still there. The UFO is still there. So yeah, so we're gonna enter at 59. Okay, guys, we're gonna enter at 59. Just a little less risk. Stop now would be located, I would say, a bit tighter. We're gonna go above 73.8. So 73.8, that is 74. 74 and 2 is 76, and 5 is gonna be 81. Okay, so we are risking 22 pips to make 152. So that's almost a 7-to-1 now. So it's even better from pure risk management point of view. So we'll take it. And therefore, the only thing left for me here is to calculate the safety target. So let me write everything on the screen so it's clear for you guys. So we are shorting the pound. The stop loss will be located from top to bottom at 130.81. 30.81. The short entry for the pound will be located at 130.59. Okay, that's where the UFO is on the screen. we would have a safety target located at the same distance below, okay, which is 22 pips below. So we take 130.59 and we remove 22 pip, and that would be 37 if I did the math correctly. I believe so. And then the final target then will be located all the way at 129.07, as we said and wrote in the order panel. Okay, so this is your trade. I'm just gonna leave it there a second or two so you can take a screenshot. In the meantime, I see Marcus wrote a couple of questions there, so let me go ahead and read that. Marcus, Jose, I have two quick questions. Number one, how to set final target when doing all times high, like for example the NQ. And number two, why not using range charts on TradeStation? Okay, good. So number one, the target for all times high. When a market is making all times high or all times low, the rule that we use is just to trail stop and not to use a final target. So you use your safety target to get rid of risk, and then you just trail stop and follow price to see how far it goes. Normally, it's worth it to do it like that because when you have an event such as making all times high, normally you have a very intense push in that direction. So the best thing probably would be just to follow the move very aggressively using your edge time frame, and whenever you get stopped out after trailing stop with the UFOs, probably that's going to be a good price where to be stopped out because you would probably collect most of the breakout move, and that would be the way to do it. Okay. So we're not going to set a target based on a mathematical calculation or some projection or whatever you would like to be. Okay, we're just going to react to UFOs as we always do. Second question, which is related to the range charts on TradeStation. You could certainly do that, and nothing wrong with doing it. But again, when using TradeStation, I normally use futures, and with futures, I can actually chart volume timeframes and tick timeframes, which give me even more precision than range charts because I make all my candles to be equivalent no matter the time of the day, no matter the level of volatility either. So I cannot do that with Forex because there is no volume and tick information because it's decentralized. So then I reserve range charts as an alternative to timeframes based on time for Forex. Okay, could you use it for futures? Yes, but again, volume and tick charts normally would be more convenient and more precise. So I would I would do it this way as I do, and you could always add range timeframes as an additional time frame. But in my mind, you start making it a bit complicated, especially because remember each futures market has different equivalencies for timeframes, and volatility changes through time in the futures markets more than in the Forex markets, and therefore you will need to look for updates on these equivalencies, which makes your life quite complicated. Okay, so long story short, it's a bit too tedious. Okay, it's not wrong, it's just a bit too tedious. Okay, and we don't need to be that perfectionist as traders. Okay, we just need to have fair trades, manage the risk, manage the emotions, and that normally it puts you in the right place. If you get too perfectionist, the problem is that it's a bit frustrating to not to find the trades, or your trade was perfect, so perfect on paper, and then you get stopped out and you lose a lot of confidence. And so it's better, to take it easy, not to look for so much perfection, and tediousness and processes that are too lengthy and too complex normally lead to that scenario. So that's why you will not see me use range timeframes for futures on TradeStation, where I could, and it would not be wrong. Okay. Cool, very good. So my friends, we got a trade here, and oh, by the way, and the pound went up to 59. So you guys may be in this trade. Okay, so if any of you executed the trade, you guys let me know. Marcus, I compare range charts for FX between TradeStation and TradingView and had different picture, though same settings. Yes, because the way TradeStation plots range charts is also different. Okay, the range charts can be plotted in a different way, and it seems that the plotting rules that TradeStation uses are different than TradingView. Okay, so that it's another reason why it creates more parameters and variables, and all of this then is difficult to track. So again, my vote there is keep it simple. Simple works, and let's make our life simple in the sense that we put ourselves in front of the computer in a way where there is little pressure from a psychological point of view, so we make less mistakes based on trading emotions. Okay, cool. Anyway, so here we go. We hit 8960. We hit 8960, and the current price is 40. Okay, the current price is 40. The EMA went up to 48. Yeah, we did not surpass 60. Okay, so so the alert continuously. Okay, so yeah, so let's continue alerting here. If it crosses 60 again, I want to confirm what's happening with copper. What a quiet day. What a quiet day in the futures markets. Okay, only one golden alert. So let's continue working on Forex. Again, the pound is still there, so we took care of the pound. We are in a trade, isn't it? What else? New Zealand and the yen got golden alerts. Unfortunately, unconfirmed climate. Okay, so this brings us to the world of minors. Okay, so now we're going to be looking at cross pairs. We're going to start with the 4-hour setups. Okay, and the first one we're going to check is the Euro Swiss. Okay, so EURCHF, Euro Swiss. Let's begin planning on this trade. Okay, I'm gonna have a sip of water if you guys don't mind. Thank you for that. I really needed that. So anyway, so let's begin. Climate with the Euro Swiss franc. Okay, so looking at the 4-hour time frame, thick and red, meaning confirm and down. So we are ready to be sellers. This is candle number one out of what statistics would suggest that those climates are likely going to last by 6 candles at a time. So again, good time to enter a trade on this market, assuming that we're going to find a UFO. Our reference values are 107.80. So let's go ahead and turn AutoUFOs on the 21-minute time frame to see if a UFO is there. Unfortunately, the UFO is located at 84, which is higher than that. So that one we cannot accept. So let's check 21 range. Did I click? Okay, now I clicked. We got, yeah. So that one is below 74. Okay, 74, and the other one is above 84. Yeah, so again, you could watch it, and maybe actually it works, okay, because this is a currency which is normally pretty low volatility, and in that sense, little movement on price may change the EMA by a decent amount, given the fact that it's moving little all the time. So from a proportion point of view, it may be enough to bring the EMA into that UFO. So you will want to watch it, okay? You will want to watch it. But since we got more alerts, I would like to continue with other ones. For example, the pound Swiss franc is normally much more volatile. I personally like volatility, okay? It helps to make more money. And if you're going to be stopped out, it also helps to be stopped out sooner. And I'm okay with that, okay? Some traders may not be okay. And if that's the case, then look for currencies that are quiet. But I am certainly okay with that, and therefore I prefer to trade the pound Swiss instead of the Euro Swiss. Okay, so what do we have from a climate point of view? It's thick and red, 2 candles out of 6. So right time to get into this trade. Our reference price, which is the EMA value, is 119.62. Okay, and 119.62, it's actually above 61. So this trade, just by like little bit, just by a little bit, it's not meeting our rules for this trade to be accepted. Okay, so no problem. Let's go back to the red screen. We just hit the horizontal line on the copper. So let's go take a look. Yeah, so the copper is a bit of a teaser. It's pointing at 45 now, so that's still making it 49. Okay, so we'll come back and check. I just need copper to go higher to see if that UFO, again, in case you missed it earlier, that UFO starts at 89.65. So my question is, when the price goes from 89.50, okay, to 89.65, what would the value of the EMA be? Okay, which I don't think it will be 65, but it could be. So, I need to watch it. Okay, I need to watch it. Pheromone, if the color of the UFO are dark green or light green, would it make a difference? Would you not take the trade if it was dark green UFO on the trading view? Okay, so the the rationale behind the different colors that we see with the UFOs being like pure red, pure green, or lighter or darker. This has to do with the expected quantity of unfilled orders still waiting to get filled. Okay, uh, so in one hand, my answer to your question on Fairmont is yes, it makes sense. If you were to take a trade and the UFO with TradeStation is darker, or with TradingView is the pure red or pure green, then you have more odds in your favor. Okay, you have more odds in your favor. Okay, but at the same time, again, earlier I was talking about not being a perfectionist. So this is something for you to explore, to backtest, okay, to experience and decide what you want to do. But in my case, for example, I will take all UFOs as long as they meet my rules. It doesn't matter to me if it's dark or light or what, because the problem of doing that, the problem of adding an additional rule and saying, I'm going to take only the ones that are darker, for example. So the problem of doing that is that sometimes all your rules are met, but you don't take the trade because the UFO was light instead of dark. And next thing you know, then it works, and then you just miss the trade, and it leads to frustration. And again, earlier I was talking about not being a perfectionist, and what I am, I have trained myself to not to be when I trade. And therefore I'll just take any trade as long as the UFO meets my rules, and that's it. Okay. Now let's say you tell me, yes, but wait a minute, I'm doing this with a very sensitive account. It's my long-term investments. This is money. Really, it's so sensitive to me. Plus, I'm super conservative, beyond super conservative, and you want to add an additional rule that says, apart from all the rules, on top of that, you want the UFO to be lighter, or to be the pure green, pure red, or to be darker in TradeStation. So nothing wrong with that. It should make your trades to be better. But again, be ready to miss trades and make sure that's not going to frustrate you, because then you may trade in revenge mode. And in one hand, you were shooting for more safety with the methodology, but then you have a negative emotional impact because of missing trades. And next thing you know, you just cannot take it, right? And you start making mistakes because we are human. Okay, so know yourself, backtest it, see what works for you best. Know that I just use any UFO. To me, it doesn't make a difference, even though it does make a little bit of a difference. But in the end, as long as it's on the screen, it means the app understands there is a significant amount of unfilled orders, and therefore I'm just going to take it. Okay. Very, very good question, Furman. And I would like to congratulate you on the question, not only because it's good, but also because a question like this only would appear if you had put time enough to practice and develop your skill, and basically time and effort. So I want to congratulate you for that, because that's the recipe to become a good trader. Okay, so that's the way to do it. So when I see questions like that, it makes me very, very happy. Not only because the question is thorough, but because I know you're taking this seriously. So well done. Ahmed, hi Jose. Sorry I'm late for the session. No worry, Ahmed. Ahmed, very good. Thanks for saying that. But of course, some days are easier than others, isn't it? Anyway, so back to the red screen here. We got two opportunities that it would be good to check with the Nasdaq and the Russell. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at those. Nasdaq and Russell. So Nasdaq and Russell. Let's open those markets. It is loading. Okay, notice, by the way, the Russell is in an up climate, blue color. The Nasdaq is in a down climate, red color. Okay, so that makes it a bit trickier. Talking about being conservative, this is one of those cases where you may want not to trade equities or equity indices, because it's likely that you could be stopped out, because one equity is dragging the other one. One equity index is dragging the other one. Okay, so these trades are a bit trickier. Okay. Now, if you get filled on both, it's perfect because you got diversification, so it's beautiful. But if you got filled on only one, it becomes a bit trickier, okay? Anyway, so let's go ahead and begin planning the trade on the Nasdaq. Okay, so what do we have here? So we have a climate, it's red and thick, so down climate. Reference point is 11,040.38. So 11,040 is 11,040 is here, and there is no UFO. 11,040 is here, there is no UFO. 11,040 is here, and there is indeed a UFO. So my friends, we do have a trade to be planned and executed with the Nasdaq. So let me go ahead and load AutoUFO on the 15-minute time frame to find my target. Okay, so my target on the Nasdaq would be here, which is 1021.5, 10021.5. So let me go ahead and switch to NQU 20. Yeah, NQU 2020. And it's not a stock, it's futures. Here we go. So we're going to be shorting, and I said it's going to be 11,021. I think I said 0.5, isn't it? Let me double check that one more time. So yes, 11,025.5, that would be the final target, okay, for this trade. So I have it here, okay, and I'm going to be planning on the remaining components here. Good. So we have it. We have the target. So what about the entry? Oh, come on. You know, I was eager to do some futures trading today since the markets were a bit in the boring side today, but notice how the UFO is gone already. So price already went in and started falling. Okay, so if I had been faster, okay, so we may be in a trade. I don't remember exactly the location of the UFO, so maybe even, don't think so, but maybe even hit safety target or close to hit safety target, not sure. But yeah, I should have been a bit quicker, okay? And I just, of course, in the sessions, I love to be very visual and document everything written so you guys can follow. But anyway, hopefully it's a good experience still to see. Yeah, definitely we will be hitting safety target right now, okay, with the entry here and the stop above. Safety target would be certainly somewhere here, okay? Anyway, beautiful trade, but let's go back and check the Russell. The Russell may give us an opportunity. Yeah, Boyan, I knew you would be watching that one, isn't it? Were you quick enough to take it? I mean, it was a very quick one. If you were watching my screen, for sure, you missed it, I would guess. But yeah. So so Russell, okay, what do we have? We have an up climate, okay, blue and thick. Statistics suggest when the Russell goes up in this time frame, it's going to be 8 candles. This is candle 3. Okay, so we can still be in there for a few more candles. So all of this is good. Yeah, Boyan, I get you. That was a quick one, isn't it? It happens. We're gonna grab everything, right, guys? Okay, it's fine. So we do have an opportunity here based on the climate reference point 150512. So 150512, it's somewhere here. In this case, no UFO. 512 here, no UFO. And 150512, it's under that UFO. So no, we don't have a trade here. Okay, we don't have a trade now. We don't have a trade now, but I'll come back to this one at 11:45 New York time. I will come back because we'll have an update on the climate and we'll have an update on the EMA, and that UFO may be valid then. Okay, so I'll come back to the Russell later on, and then we may have a trade. Okay, so the Nasdaq falling even more. Let me close it because we missed it, so that's over, at least for now. Any news on the copper? No. So the copper is pushing a bit to the downside given the down climate, but never came to our 8960 line to review the entry. So Nasdaq is there. Okay, got it. So hey guys, let's look for another forex trade, and then we'll check the Russell. And I guess that's how we're gonna call it the day. Looking at a forex trade and the Russell, and then we'll be done. Okay. So what else do we have? We have the New Zealand Swiss franc. We also have the New Zealand dollar, Japanese yen. Since I've looked at 2 or 3 currency pairs with the Swiss, but I haven't looked at any with the yen. So out of giving you a bit more diversity, so let's go ahead and look at NZDJPY. So New Zealand dollar yen. We are looking at the 4-hour time frame. Okay, let's see what we have here. Have the initial impression is good. I believe we may have a trade here. So New Zealand dollar yen. So we have a thick confirmed climate to the downside, 2 candles into the climate. Statistics suggest that when climates begin developing, a normal thing to happen would be to last by 6 candles. Okay, so that's a full day minus 8 hours. So it's nice intraday trade if we catch it. And the reference point, reference price for our entry would be 70.07. Okay, 70.07, which is more or less there. Okay, so let's see if there is a UFO there. turning on AutoUFOs. Did I click on? Oh, yes, I did. No, it seems that there is none. Yeah, the UFOs are much higher. Okay, interesting. What about the 21 range? Yeah, 21 range is 70.17. Nothing is of quality closer to price. Okay, so yeah, no trade on the Kiwi yen. So let's go back to the red screen. We still have time to look at more forex pairs. So what else do we have? The Aussie yen. So the Kiwi yen didn't work. Let's take a look at the Aussie yen. So AUD JPY, still 4-hour time frame combined with 21. So what do we have here? Okay, what do we have? So we are dealing here with a climate which is confirmed to the upside. We've been in this climate for 6 candles. Statistics suggest 7 candles for this climate, and therefore we are not late to the party. It's not very soon, but it's not late for the party. Okay, to the party. 75.57. It's our reference point. And therefore I'm going to use the 21-minute time frame to turn on AutoUFOs and see if we have a UFO enveloping 75.57. And we're done. The next UFO is 75.24. What about the range time frame? 75.53, which is below. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, and by the way, it could work because when the market goes down, the EMA will go down, but you will need to monitor it, okay? And because it's not that close, so then I'm just gonna pass and see if I can find another opportunity before we conclude the session today. So below is sensible and hopeful, and this one is not confirmed. Above we have the Kiwi Swiss, which I said I will skip it. We could certainly check, but I rather relook one more time at the Aussie yen, but now I'm going to do it with a daily time frame. Okay, daily time frame. So let's go ahead and give it one more chance, and then we'll go check the Russell, and then we'll call it a day. Okay, so what do we have when looking at the daily time frame? So what we have is a climate which is currently thick and blue. It's confirmed. 2 candles into the climate. So we've been propagating for 2 candles already. Statistics suggest it's going to be 6 days. It's 2 days out of 6. So you can be in a 4-day trade here if we catch it properly. Now, this is a trade for us to be a buyer. It's blue color. Okay. And the buying price would be 75.47. 75.47, which is around 30 pips below price. So let's take a look at the UFOs and see if there is any UFO available there in the 55-minute time frame. And interesting, 74.78 is the next UFO. What about the 55 range? So 55 range instead of 55 minutes gives us UFOs at 75.21, which is not lining up with 75.47 at all. So no trade. So we got a few no-goes on those trades, and guess what? It's part of trading actually. It's what we should be doing most of the time, which is to discard trades and accept only a few. This is the sign of quality, isn't it? If you accept every trade, it means you're trading anything. And then it's high quantity but low quality instead of high quality and low quantity. Okay, cool. Okay, so back to here. Nasdaq still flashing. Okay, so what's happening to the Russell? Price still doing its thing. Yeah, so I'm just gonna wait here. We're gonna have an update in 1 minute and 20 seconds. Okay, so again, 1 minute and 20 seconds from now, we're gonna have an update on the EMA. What I'll do in the meantime is turn on AutoUFOs looking for a target. Okay, AutoUFOs looking for a target. Do we have red UFOs above? It doesn't look like it, right? If I load the monthly time frame, we are not making all-time highs on the Russell. But to find data on the screen, we need to move all the way to January earlier this year. So I'm going to move back to the 15-minute time frame. But in order to find my UFOs, okay, I'm going to have to load data. Okay, load data using January 2020 as my first date Okay, so I get red UFOs above price. Okay, so let's take a look at where they may be, and they are super far away, which is nice to see, but also for an intraday trade is unrealistic. We're gonna get there in a one-day move, so probably you end up trailing stop. Okay, but anyway, your target would be 1526.10. Okay, 1526.10. So let me write it down so we don't forget this. So RTYU 2020. This is the contract. If we were to go long, our target would be 1526, and I just forgot what I said. So it was 1526.10. Here we go. Okay, so 0.10. So this will be the location for our target. I'll come back to this to see if we have a trade or not. Maybe we don't have a trade at all. Okay, so back to 500 candles, back to display, auto climate, back to normal. Now the EMA has updated, is now pointing at 06 point something. So 06 point something coincides with that one. 06 point something will coincide with this one too, because when the price goes down, the EMA will go down. And 06 point something coincides with that one too as well. Yeah. So the top here is 0590, which is the same as this one, I believe, 0590, and this one has a top which is 0780. Okay, so we're gonna use that as an entry. So 1507.90, that's gonna be our entry. Our stop is gonna be below 53, which is the same ending price for all those UFOs. Okay, 53. So we're gonna go one tick below, so it's gonna be 52. Okay, so 15 05.2. Okay, and here I think I did not set the price right. I believe, was it 790? Let me rephrase that. I think so. Just want to make sure I have it right. Yeah, 780. Okay, so 780. Here we go. So now, so the idea would be to enter 780 with a stop 52. That's $130 of risk per contract. Target would be located at 1524.1. That is a 6-to-1 trade. As I told you, the final target is quite far. Can we get there? Yes. Is it likely? Probably not. We'll probably end up trailing stop, and exit somewhere in the middle. And the only thing to be calculated here will be the safety target. Okay, so let me go ahead and enter the order so you see how it's done, and then we'll call it a day. Okay, so let's enter the order. Trade. I'm going to use 2 contracts. Of course, you guys make sure you use the right size for your account, as well as deciding if you use real money or paper money. You saw each contract has a risk of $130. Okay, so 1507.8. I believe that was the entry. Okay, 1507.8. Yeah, stops 1505.2. 1505.2. 1505.2. Final target we said was going to be 24.1, 1524.1. And finally, for the safety target, okay, so we have here entry is 1507.8 minus the stop 1505.2. It's 2.6 points if I project this above my entry, which is 1507.8. That's going to be 1510.4. Okay, so 1510.4, that would be my safety target. So let me place the order. I'll explain it on the screen. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Here we go. Not sure why it did not come in. 66F. Maybe I'm using a different. Yeah, I'm going to be using a different account. Settings. Sorry, guys. Just want to show you the orders on the screen. Account number. Oh yeah, that's the one I'm using. So I'm not sure why the order did not go in. Oh, now it's coming in. So as you can see there is either a delay in some shape or form on my platform. So I certainly need to check that later to understand what's happening, because I can see a stop order, but I don't see my entry. Let me double check my, well, these things could happen to you guys. And if this happens to you, keep in mind that the trade manager window will help you to see your orders. So I'm just going to look at the orders I have in here. Account, I'm using the 66. Yeah, so the order is not showing up. So there is a problem, guys. There is a problem. Okay, now it's showing up. So the orders are showing here, and they're showing on my chart little by little. This is a weird error, but anyway, it's happening. It seems to me that the orders are properly placed, but for whatever reason, they don't show on my screen properly. Mystery, whatever it is. Probably you exit TrustStation and come back in, and everything is fine, because the orders seem to be on the servers of TrustStation. So it seems that it's a chart problem, probably a temporary thing. Okay. Anyway, so you can see this is my entry. Okay. So if the Russell falls just another point, we're gonna get an entry. My stop is below. That stop below is also below that UFO. That stop below is also below that UFO. Okay. And then of course, a bit higher, I should have my safety target, which I do, and even higher, I should have my final target, which I do, even though they don't show on my screen. Okay, so it's a bit strange what just happened to me on the screen, but anyway, hopefully the trade plan is clear, guys. Here you have entry, stop, and target. Remember, we said the safety target is 15104. Okay, so the whole plan, if you wish, if I bring it to the left like this, now you get it all. Okay, so you have, this is the value for the safety target, and here on the left you have entry, stop, final target, safety target, and those are the 4 parameters for the trade that you need. And again, the price is quite close, so you may get filled anytime on this trade. Okay, we're gonna conclude the session here now for us, guys, since we're running our 45-minute sessions and we exceeded 45 minutes. So you have your instructions on how to execute a trade. Of course, make sure you watch the EMA, because the EMA right now, being 0608, falls within that UFO. So the UFO envelopes the EMA. But careful, because 8 minutes from now, we're going to hit 12 p.m. New York. We'll have an update on the EMA, and that value will change. And now it may or may not envelop that EMA anymore. Okay, so if it doesn't, then you will need to go ahead and cancel the trade by clicking cancel. Okay, I have a last quick look at the copper. Well, price actually entered the UFO and is falling from there, but this is not a trade to be taken. If I freeze the screen, give me 1 second here, I freeze the screen. So notice how we enter the UFO and the UFO is pointing at 52, okay, where price is much higher than that. So in other words, that UFO is not enveloping the EMA. That UFO is above the EMA, not enveloping it. Okay, so the trade with copper was not valid, as I kind of expected, but we had to reconfirm visually. So at least we saw that. Okay, and when it comes to the Russell, so here we have it. And I think we're gonna call it a day. So let me read your final comments here on the chat box. And let me see. Marcus, is there a detailed session or document about trade management, not just the basic rules, but what do we do when the UFOs disappear after having entered a trade? When the UFOs disappear after entering the trade, you just stick with the trade. Well, we just got filled on the Russell, by the way. Notice the very weird coloring I got on the matrix here. So when this happens to you guys, you should be rebooting your TrustStation. Something very strange is happening here, okay? Anyway, so you stay with the trade, Marcus, when this happens to you, because you have the climate in your favor, you have the EMA in your favor, so you have 2 out of 3 components in your favor. So of course, it's not a good sign that the UFO went away. Certainly, it's a pretty bad sign. It's the worst that could happen. but you still have two more elements working for you, so you stick with the trade. Okay. Could you make it a rule and say, hey, if the UFO disappears, just like if the climate changes, I will get out? Yes, you could. Would this be a crazy rule? No, but it would take you out of trades where you may miss some profits, because the reason why the UFOs disappear at the time that you entered is because orders got filled, and that's how you got filled. So it's, you got the good and the bad. You need more people to buy after you bought. You need more people to sell after you sold for you to make a profit. If more people buy after you bought, more people sell after you sold, then orders will get filled and the UFO is likely going to disappear, right? After you enter. So it's part of the game, if you wish. So you stick with the trade. Again, you tell me I'm super conservative, I need more evidence. Okay, so then close the trade, but just know that many times you'll get out of the trade and then you'll see the market move your way. Okay. Fermon, thank you, my friend. Have a great day, you too, Boyan. Thanks for that, Boyan. Yep. Yes, everyone. Cool. So you guys, we're in the trade here, so I'll let you manage it. Of course, time stops apply, etc., etc. So just apply yourself when it comes to trade management, and do what you're supposed to do. I will leave you with this trade as a homework. Okay. Very good, everybody. You guys take care. Bye bye. See you soon.